Hey guys, tonight we begin with something wonderfully mundane. The quiet, contemplative world of medieval scholarship, where the most exciting event might be discovering a new manuscript or successfully mixing the perfect shade of blue ink. We're diving into the surprisingly peaceful existence of Brother Thomas, a monastery librarian whose days were filled with vellum, quill pens, and the gentle scratch of copying sacred texts. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Picture this. It's the year 1347, and you're Brother Thomas of Whitmore Abbey, a Benedictine monastery nestled in the rolling hills of northern England. Your alarm clock is the gentle tolling of the abbey bells calling you to Lauds, the first prayer service of the day. But unlike the harsh buzz of a modern alarm, this sound drifts through your small stone cell like a familiar friend, coaxing you gently from dreams of perfectly illuminated manuscripts and orderly shelves lined with precious books. You rise from your simple straw mattress, splash cold water from a ceramic basin onto your face, and slip into your heavy woolen habit. The brown robes are coarse against your skin, but they're warm, practical, and most importantly, they mark you as a man of God and learning. Your leather belt holds a small eating knife and a ring of iron keys that jingle softly as you walk. These keys are your badge of office, for they unlock not treasure chests filled with gold, but something far more valuable in your world: books. After attending morning prayers in the Abbey Church, you make your way through the cloisters to your domain. The scriptorium and library of Whitmore Abbey occupy the entire upper floor of the east wing, positioned to catch the best natural light throughout the day. Stone steps worn smooth by countless feet lead up to heavy oak doors reinforced with iron bands. You select the largest key from your ring and turn it in the lock with a satisfying click that echoes through the corridor. The scriptorium greets you with the familiar scent of parchment, ink, and beeswax candles. 20 wooden desks arranged in neat rows face tall windows fitted with precious glass, a luxury that most of the outside world cannot afford. Each desk holds the tools of scholarly trade. Reed pens cut from marsh grasses, bottles of ink mixed from oak galls and iron, pumice stones for smoothing rough parchment, and small pots of coloured pigments made from crushed minerals and ground insects. But it's the adjoining library that truly captures your heart. Shelves carved from English oak stretch from floor to vaulted ceiling, each one carefully designed to hold the Abbey's collection of nearly 200 books. To most people, this might seem like a modest number, but in your world, it represents one of the finest collections north of London. Each volume has been painstakingly copied by hand, bound in leather or wooden boards, and secured with metal clasps to prevent the pages from warping in England's damp climate. Your morning routine begins with inspection. You walk slowly through the library, running your fingers along the spines, checking for any signs of damage from moisture, insects, or the occasional mouse that manages to slip past the Abbey cats. The books are arranged not alphabetically as future generations might expect, but by subject and importance. Sacred texts occupy the places of honor closest to the altar wall. The Bible, of course, holds the central position, its thick leather binding worn smooth by countless hands. Beside it rest the works of the Church Fathers, Augustine, Jerome, Gregory the Great, their wisdom preserved in careful script on vellum pages. The morning light filtering through the windows creates perfect conditions for your first major task of the day. 3 young monks await your instruction, novices who have shown aptitude for letters and have been assigned to work under your guidance in the scriptorium. Brother Martin, barely 18 years old, shows remarkable skill with decorative capitals. Brother Edmund possesses steady hands perfect for the precise work of copying text. And Brother William, though prone to daydreaming, has an artistic eye that makes him valuable for illuminated margins. You distribute the day's assignments with quiet authority. Brother Martin will continue work on a psalter commissioned by the local lord, a project that will take months to complete, but will provide the abbey with enough silver to purchase grain through the winter. Brother Edmund receives a stack of loose pages, sermons by the abbey's prior that need to be copied into a proper bound volume for preservation. Brother William, after a gentle reminder to focus, begins the delicate task of adding gold leaf to the initial letters of a book of hours. The work proceeds in comfortable silence, broken only by the scratch of pens on parchment and the occasional whispered question about spelling or spacing. This is not the rushed, pressured environment of later printing houses. Each letter is formed with deliberate care, each word considered and placed with precision. Mistakes, when they occur, cannot simply be erased. They must be carefully scraped away with a knife blade, the parchment smoothed with pumice, and the text begun again. As the Abbey's librarian, you spend much of your time not copying, but organising, cataloguing, and preserving the collection. Each book has its designated place, and you maintain careful records of what volumes are in the library, which have been lent to other monasteries, and what new acquisitions might be obtained through purchase or trade. This morning, you update the library catalogue, a bound volume that lists each book by title, author, and location. The catalogue itself is a work of art, written in your finest hand and decorated with simple but elegant flourishes. The morning progresses peacefully until a soft knock at the library door announces a visitor. Brother Aldrich, the Abbey's treasurer, enters with news that brings a smile to your face. A merchant travelling from York has arrived with a cart full of goods for trade, and among his possessions is a collection of books from a dissolved priory. This is the medieval equivalent of discovering a treasure trove. New books are rare and precious, and the opportunity to acquire volumes that might contain works unknown to your collection fills you with quiet excitement. You accompany Brother Aldrich down to the Abbey courtyard, where the merchant waits beside his cart. The man is road-weary but respectful, clearly understanding that monks are among his best customers for books. He opens a wooden chest with reverence, revealing 6 volumes wrapped in oiled cloth. Your trained eye immediately assesses their condition and value. A commentary on the Gospels by Bede, slightly damaged but still legible. A collection of saints' lives that would complement the Abbey's existing hagiographical works. Most exciting of all, a treatise on natural philosophy that you've never seen before, its pages filled with diagrams of celestial movements and discussions of the 4 humours. Negotiations with the merchant are conducted with the same careful deliberation that characterises all monastic business. The Abbey operates on barter more often than coin, and you discuss what goods might be acceptable in trade. The merchant expresses interest in the Abbey's famous honey, some fine woolen cloth woven by the lay brothers, and perhaps a few bottles of the medicinal tinctures prepared by Brother Herbalist. The conversation is pleasant and unhurried, conducted in the shade of the Abbey's ancient oak tree, while the merchant's horses rest and drink from the stone trough. Eventually terms are agreed upon, and you select 3 of the 6 volumes for the Abbey's collection. The natural philosophy text is too valuable to pass up, despite its unfamiliar content. The saints' lives will be welcomed by the brothers, and the Bede commentary, though damaged, contains wisdom that can still be preserved through careful copying. You arrange for the books to be carried to the library, wrapped in clean linen to protect them from dust and moisture during the short journey across the courtyard. Back in the scriptorium, the afternoon light has shifted, and you notice work. This is the Brother Edmund, squinting at his daily challenge of medieval scholarship, the constant race against the fading sun. Candles are expensive and smoky, making them poor substitutes for natural illumination. You make a mental note to reassign Brother Edmund to morning copying sessions when the light is strongest, saving afternoon hours for tasks that require less precise vision. The newly acquired books require immediate attention. You clear a space at your personal desk, and begin the careful process of examination and cataloguing. Each volume must be inspected page by page, checking for damage, missing leaves, or signs of insect infestation. The natural philosophy text proves to be a fascinating challenge. Written in a hand you don't immediately recognize, it contains diagrams of astronomical instruments and discussions of mathematical principles that stretch your understanding. You make careful notes about each acquisition in the library catalogue, recording not only the title and author, but also the number of folios, the quality of the binding, and any notable decorative elements. The Saints' Lives volume contains 3 beautifully illuminated initials that will serve as excellent examples for your novice scribes. The bead commentary, despite water damage to its lower margins, contains complete text that can be copied to create a pristine replacement volume. As you work, the familiar sounds of monastic life continue around you. The Abbey bell tower chimes the canonical hours, marking the rhythm of prayer and work that governs every day. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the gentle lowing of cattle being led to pasture by the lay brothers. Closer at hand, the scratch of pens continues as your scribes progress steadily through their assigned tasks. Brother Martin approaches your desk with a question about the psalter he's illuminating. The patron has requested that his family coat of arms be incorporated into the decorative border, but the description provided by the messenger is unclear. You set aside your cataloguing work to examine Brother Martin's progress and discuss possible interpretations of the heraldic symbols. This kind of collaborative problem solving represents one of the most satisfying aspects of your role. You're not merely a keeper of books, but a teacher, guide, and creative partner in the endless project of preserving and transmitting knowledge. The afternoon brings another visitor, this time from within the Abbey community. Brother Infirmarian arrives seeking a particular text on the properties of healing herbs. One of the elderly monks has developed a persistent cough, and the Infirmarian hopes to find guidance in the medical manuscripts. You know exactly which volume he needs, a compilation of remedies copied from various sources over the years, and bound together in a single convenient volume. Leading Brother Infirmarian to the appropriate shelf, you retrieve the medical text and explain its organization. The various remedies are arranged by ailment rather than by ingredient, making it easier for someone treating a specific condition to find relevant information quickly. You point out particular passages that might be useful, including a recipe for a honey-based cough syrup that has proven effective in the past. This interaction reminds you of the practical importance of your work. The library isn't simply a repository of ancient wisdom gathering dust on shelves. It's a living resource that serves the daily needs of the monastic community. Medical texts guide the infirmarian's treatments. Agricultural manuals help the brothers manage the abbey's farms. Theological works provide material for sermons and spiritual instruction. Legal documents preserve records of land grants and privileges that protect the abbey's rights and properties. As the day progresses towards evening, you begin the process of securing the scriptorium for the night. Ink bottles are capped and stored away from freezing temperatures. Pens are cleaned and set aside to dry. The most valuable manuscripts in progress are locked away in wooden chests, protected from both theft and accidental damage. The library doors are checked and secured, and you make a final walk through the collection, ensuring that all volumes have been properly returned to their designated places. The routine extends to checking the great chain that secures the Abbey's most precious book, an illuminated gospel that represents decades of work by previous generations of scribes. The chain isn't a sign of distrust, but of practical security. Books are so valuable that theft represents a serious threat, and the chain ensures that this irreplaceable volume can be consulted but never removed from the library. Your evening meal in the Abbey refectory provides a quiet opportunity to reflect on the day's accomplishments. The 3 new acquisitions will require weeks of careful study and preservation work. Brother Martin's Psalter is progressing beautifully and should be completed within the month. The catalogue updates are current, and tomorrow's assignments are already planned in your mind. After compline, the final prayer service of the monastic day, you return briefly to the library for a personal ritual that brings your daily routine full circle. By the light of a single candle, you spend a few quiet minutes reading from your own private devotional book, a small psalter that you copied as a young monk years ago. The familiar words, written in your own careful hand, provide a sense of continuity and purpose that connects today's work to the broader mission of monastic life. The candle flame flickers against the stone walls as you close your psalter and prepare to retire to your cell, but not before performing one final duty that exemplifies the careful stewardship required of a medieval librarian. You check the small brazier kept burning in the library throughout the night, not for warmth, but to prevent the devastating dampness that can destroy parchment in a matter of weeks. The coals glow softly, providing just enough heat to keep the air circulating without creating the dry conditions that make manuscripts brittle and prone to cracking. Your cell adjoins the library, a practical arrangement that allows you to respond quickly to any emergency. Fire is the greatest fear, of course, but there are other concerns as well. Mice can gnaw through leather bindings in search of the glue made from animal bones. Beetles bore tiny holes through pages. Even the abbey cats, despite their usefulness in controlling rodents, occasionally knock over ink bottles or leave muddy paw prints on freshly copied pages. Sleep comes easily after a day spent in quiet concentration. Your dreams are often filled with letters and words, entire sentences flowing across your mind in the various scripts you've mastered over the years. Sometimes you dream of books that don't exist, imaginary volumes containing wisdom that seems profound in sleep, but dissolves into nonsense upon waking. These dreams aren't troubling, but rather a natural extension of a life devoted to the written word. Dawn arrives with the familiar sound of the abbey bell, and your routine begins anew. After attending lauds and breaking your fast with brown bread and watered wine, you return to the scriptorium to find that overnight, a small crisis has developed. Brother William, despite your gentle warnings about focus, has made a significant error in his illuminated initial. Instead of the requested dove symbolizing the Holy Spirit, he has painted what appears to be a rather plump chicken. The mistake would be amusing if it weren't for the fact that the page represents hours of work and expensive materials. You examine the error with Brother William, who stands beside you with the expression of a student who knows he has disappointed his teacher. The gold leaf has already been applied, making correction nearly impossible without starting the entire page over. However, your years of experience have taught you that even mistakes can sometimes be transformed into opportunities. With careful application of additional pigment and some creative interpretation, the chicken might yet become an acceptable dove, albeit a well-fed one. The morning's first lesson for your novice scribes focuses on the proper preparation of writing surfaces. Not all parchment is created equal, and learning to assess the quality of vellum is crucial for any scribe. You demonstrate how to test the surface with a fingernail, listening for the subtle differences in sound that indicate whether the skin has been properly prepared. Good parchment rings with a clear tone, while inferior material produces a dull thud that warns of potential problems with ink absorption and durability. Brother Edmund, your most reliable copyist, has developed a slight tremor in his writing hand, a common affliction among scribes who spend years gripping pens tightly. You prescribe a regimen of hand exercises, stretching the fingers and rotating the wrists to maintain flexibility. You also adjust his assignments to include more variety, alternating between detailed text copying and broader tasks like ruling lines and preparing page layouts. The health of your scribes is as important as the health of your manuscripts. For without skilled hands, the Abbey's scholarly mission cannot continue. The morning brings an unexpected visitor in the form of Brother Joachim from the Abbey of St. Albans, a monastery renowned throughout England for its exceptional library. He arrives dusty from travel, carrying a leather satchel that immediately captures your attention. Visiting scholars often bring opportunities for manuscript exchange, and St. Albans possesses several texts that would greatly enrich your collection. Brother Joachim's mission proves to be even more interesting than you had hoped. His abbey is undertaking a comprehensive project to create copies of their most important manuscripts, ensuring that their knowledge survives even if disaster befalls the original collection. They seek partner monasteries willing to exchange copying services, creating a network of backup libraries across England. The proposal excites you immensely, as it represents not only access to new texts, but also the security that comes from distributed preservation. You spend the remainder of the morning examining the sample pages that Brother Joachim has brought. The St. Albans scribes work in a slightly different style, their letters more angular than the rounded script favoured at Whitmore. However, their illumination work is exceptional, particularly their use of ultramarine blue, a pigment so expensive that it rivals gold in value. The recipe for achieving such brilliant colour is closely guarded, but perhaps through collaboration, some secrets might be shared. The negotiation of terms for the manuscript exchange requires careful consideration of both Abbey's resources and needs. Whitmore Abbey possesses several agricultural treatises that would benefit St. Albans' extensive farming operations. In return, you covet their collection of astronomical texts, works that would complement the natural philosophy volume recently acquired from the travelling merchant. The agreement reached is complex but fair, involving the exchange of completed copies rather than original manuscripts, ensuring that both institutions retain their core collections. Brother Joachim also brings news from the wider world of scholarship. The University of Oxford is expanding its collection and seeking manuscripts from monastic libraries. While you have no intention of parting with Whitmore's treasures, the university's interest suggests a growing appreciation for the preservation work being done in monasteries across England. This recognition validates the importance of your daily routine, the careful copying and cataloguing that might seem mundane, but serves a larger purpose in maintaining civilization's written heritage. After Brother Joachim departs with promises to send the first exchange manuscripts within the month, you turn your attention to a project that has been developing slowly over several years. The Abbey's Chronicle, a record of significant events in the community's history, requires updating. The previous chronicler, Brother Augustine, died the previous winter, leaving the record incomplete. As librarian, you have inherited the responsibility of continuing this important work. The Chronicle presents unique challenges that differ from copying existing texts. You must gather information from various sources, interviewing elderly brothers who remember events from decades past, consulting official documents stored in the Abbey's archive, and synthesizing these materials into a coherent narrative. The work requires not only scribal skills, but also the judgment of a historian, deciding which events deserve inclusion and how they should be presented to future readers. Your afternoon is spent interviewing Brother Marcus, one of the Abbey's oldest residents, about the great flood that occurred 15 years earlier. The River Trent, swollen by unprecedented spring rains, had overflowed its banks and damaged several of the Abbey's outlying buildings. Brother Marcus remembers not only the practical details of the disaster, but also the community's response, how the brothers worked together to save both livestock and manuscripts from the rising waters. As Brother Marcus speaks, you take careful notes on a wax tablet, planning to transfer the information to parchment once you have organized the narrative properly. The story he tells illustrates important themes about monastic life: the vulnerability of human enterprises to natural forces, the strength found in community cooperation, and the priority given to preserving books even in times of crisis. These elements will make the flood account more than mere historical record, transforming it into a meditation on the values that guide monastic existence. The late afternoon light filtering through the scriptorium windows creates the perfect atmosphere for detailed work. You begin the process of transferring Brother Marcus's account to the Chronicle, weighing each word carefully. The language must be formal enough to maintain the dignity of official history while remaining accessible to future readers who may consult the Chronicle decades or centuries hence. This balance between formality and clarity represents one of the most challenging aspects of chronicle writing. Brother Martin approaches with the completed Psalter, the illuminated manuscript that has occupied his attention for weeks. The finished work represents the culmination of medieval book production, combining perfect calligraphy with stunning visual artistry. Each page demonstrates the painstaking attention to detail that characterizes monastic scholarship. The text flows in precise lines across the vellum, while decorative elements frame the words without overwhelming them. Gold leaf catches the afternoon light, creating an almost celestial glow that transforms the book into an object of both utility and beauty. Your inspection of the completed Psalter reveals the high standard of work maintained in the Whitmore scriptorium. Every aspect meets the specifications requested by the patron, from the specific prayers included to the heraldic elements incorporated into the decorative borders. The binding, completed by Brother Bookbinder using techniques passed down through generations, ensures that the volume will survive decades of regular use while maintaining its elegant appearance. As evening approaches, you begin the familiar process of preparing the scriptorium for night. The day's work has been productive, with progress made on multiple projects and important groundwork laid for future collaborations. Brother Edmund has completed another section of the prior's sermons, his steady hand producing clean, readable text that will serve the community for years to come. Brother William, chastened by his morning mistake, has applied himself diligently to correcting the errant dove, achieving results that, while not perfect, demonstrate his growing skill and commitment to improvement. The newly acquired manuscripts from yesterday's merchant encounter have been properly catalogued and assigned shelf locations. The natural philosophy text in particular has revealed fascinating insights that will require further study. Its mathematical diagrams suggest knowledge of geometric principles that could prove useful in architectural projects around the abbey. The integration of practical and theoretical knowledge exemplifies the comprehensive approach to learning that characterizes the best monastic libraries. Your evening meal provides an opportunity to discuss the day's developments with other abbey officers. The prior expresses satisfaction with the progress on his sermon collection, while the treasurer approves of the manuscript exchange agreement negotiated with St. Albans. These conversations remind you that the library serves not only as a repository of knowledge, but also as a vital component of the abbey's administrative and spiritual functions. After Compline, your final visit to the library takes on special significance tonight. The Psalter's completion marks the successful conclusion of a major project, while the new collaboration with St. Albans promises expanded opportunities for scholarly exchange. Tomorrow will bring new challenges and opportunities, but tonight you can rest satisfied that the day's work has advanced the eternal mission of preserving and transmitting human knowledge through the careful stewardship of books. And so another day draws to a close in the life of Brother Thomas, keeper of books and guardian of wisdom. As you extinguish your reading candle and prepare for sleep, you reflect on the quiet rhythms that define monastic scholarship. There were no battles fought today, no kingdoms conquered, no dramatic revelations that will echo through history. Instead, there was the gentle scratch of pen on parchment, the careful turning of ancient pages, and the patient work of preserving knowledge for generations yet unborn. In a world that often celebrates the loud and the spectacular, there's something deeply soothing about this medieval existence devoted to books, learning, and contemplation. Brother Thomas and his fellow scribes remind us that civilization advances not only through grand gestures, but through countless small acts of dedication. Every letter carefully formed, every manuscript meticulously preserved, every student patiently taught, contributes to the great chain of human knowledge that connects past to future. Perhaps tonight, as you drift off to sleep, you can find comfort in imagining that scriptorium, with its pools of candlelight and whispered consultations, where the most pressing concern is whether the ink has dried properly or if tomorrow's parchment shipment will arrive on schedule. In that peaceful world of vellum and devotion, where time moves slowly and purpose runs deep, Brother Thomas continues his quiet work, one page at a time.